A minim rest looks very similar to the semi-breve rest we looked at before, but a little bit different. So it looks like, I used to remember it as a top hat. So if you remember the semi-breve rest, it used to hang down below, this one sits above. So if I'm on the staff, and I've got my 5 lines of my staff, so let's say we're at treble clef, we're in 4/4, it would sit on this middle line here. Now you've got to make sure again it doesn't fill up the whole space, it should only just sit on the line, and that would be a 2-beat rest. Just like a minim's 2 beats long, that would be a rest for 2 beats. So after that I could have, for example, another minim, and that would fill up my bar of my music there. So just remember that's 2 beats rest. If I'm in 4/4, there is one rule you need to really remember. I'll just draw it here. So let's say that's a bar of 4/4 and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 beats in there. I could put one of those minim rests for the first 2 beats or the last 2, but you should never ever draw it for the second and third. It's just one of the rules to keep music clear and make it so that everyone in the world does the same thing. Never put it as the second and third. If I was in 3/4 and I drew one of those, I would actually be totally wrong. You're never allowed to put one of those into 3/4 at all. Just don't do it. There is a crotchet rest that we can use for it. There's other symbols, but just remember that does not belong in 3/4. Don't ever do that. If I'm in 2/4 and I put one of those rests, that would take up the whole bar because it's 2 beats long. Just as an example, I could also put a whole or a semi-breve rest in there and take up the bar. So these actually would be equal to each other in 2/4. Remember how we said that's 2 beats long? This is a whole bar no matter what the time signature. So they would actually be equal to each other. So a little bit of something that can confuse there, but it kind of makes sense once you get used to it. So just remember that this here is a 2-beat rest. Never put it in 3/4. And in 4/4 it can't be the second and third beat. So you'll get it wrong if you put it there.